top 12 prog bands of all time have generated like 750 million units worldwide. Truly impressive. For a kind of a cult genre of the greater rock and roll genre, and then the greater music industry is prog rock, is progressive rock. And yet, 750 million albums and singles sold worldwide. So far, at the top of the list is Pink Floyd. Estimated global sales 250 million units. This rivals the Beatles and Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley for global sales. Dark Side of the Moon, 1973, 45 to 50 million copies sold. Dark Side of the Moon was on the Billboard 200 chart for 950 weeks. 23 million copies of The Wall were sold. The Division Bell in 1994. Dark Side of the Moon, 1973, 15 million albums sold. The Wall, 1979, 23 million. So it's 23 platinum. Wish You Were Here, 6 million. Animals, 4 times platinum. Genesis, 100 to 150 million sold. Albums like Selling England by the Pound and Lamb Lies Down and Broadway. Invisible Touch, 1986. We Can't Dance in 1991. Very commercially successful. And then Phil Collins himself, 150 million units. So that combined with his band, 150 million on his own. And Genesis, the guy has sold close to 300 million albums between Genesis and his solo efforts. Amazing. Truly amazing. Truly, and he's a drummer. Gotta love that. Moody Blues. These guys incorporated symphonic elements so well. 70 million albums sold. Wow. Days of Future Past, 1967, one of their greatest albums. Long Distance Voyager, 1981, reached #1. In the MTV era, they had Your Wildest Dreams, which was a top 10 hit. Jethro Tull, #4, 60 million units sold. Aqualung is truly their benchmark. In 1971, selling over 7 million copies, reaching #1 on the US charts with Thick as a Brick in 1972. A Passion Play, 1973. Jethro Tull beat out Metallica in 1987. Alan Parsons Project, #5. Estimated global sales 55 million. Alan Parsons helped create and engineer Dark Side of the Moon. Eye in the Sky, 1982, and I, Robot in 1977. ELO, Electric Light Orchestra, 50 million units sold. Out of the Blue and Spectacle, the double album Out of the Blue, 1977, 10 million units sold. And then lots of hit singles. Unlike Yes, ELO generated sales through the relentless stream of hits like Mr. Blue Sky, Don't Bring Me Down, and Evil Woman. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, or ELP. Supergroup, these guys kind of the archetype of the supergroup. 48 million units sold. Unlike Genesis and Pink Floyd, who built their audiences over time. Rush, another example. ELP or Emerson, Lake and Palmer were successful right away. Pictures of an Exhibition, 1971, sold close to 1 million units, but then rapidly declined thereafter. Unlike Genesis and Rush, Emerson, Lake and Palmer were not able to kind of transition into the 80s. Rush, the cult band with a massive, giant following. 40 to 45 million units sold worldwide. Moving Pictures is the peak of that. They built a loyal following. Moving Pictures is their most successful. 5 million units of Moving Pictures, but also physical media. All of us Rush fans, we love collecting Rush. We've been talking about it just this last couple weeks with Grace Under Pressure. Even to this day, 40 years later, they sold out of the $300 Grace Under Pressure, and I'm sure the $375 box set will be gone soon. Rush. Styx, 30 to 54 million units sold for Styx. They had 4 platinum albums in a row. Grand Illusion, 1977. Pieces of 8, 1978. Cornerstone, 1979. And Paradise Theater in 1981. All of those triple platinum except for Cornerstone, 2 times platinum, 2 million sold. And then the power ballad, of course, you guys know it well. Come sail away with me. Yes, virtuoso. Man, I love Yes so much. 30 million units sold. Fragile in 1971 and Closer to the Edge, 1972. Really put Yes on the map. They reinvented themselves in the 90s with 90125, their biggest sales spike in history with Trevor Rabin coming on board. Owner of a Lonely Heart, #1 hit single. Yes, they had a #1 hit with Owner of a Lonely Heart. Kansas, 30 million units sold. 1976 album Left Overture, their most successful masterpiece, 5 million units sold on that one. Of course, The Signal, Carry On, My Wayward Son. Point of No Return, 1977. Follow Left Overture with another 4 million units sold. Queensrÿche, 30 million units sold in between Mindcrime and Empire. Mindcrime in 1988 and Empire in 1990. Their best-selling albums globally: Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon; Genesis, We Can't Dance; Days of Future Past from Moody Blues; Jethro Tull, Aqualung; Alan Parsons, Eye in the Sky; ELO, Out of the Blue; ELP, Brain Salad Surgery; Rush, Moving Pictures; Styx, Paradise Theater; Yes, 90125; Kansas, Left Overture; and Queensrÿche with Empire. I am Eric. This is the Loudboy Experience. You guys have a good one, and I will see you next time.